Hi, I'm going to talk about summary leads. Now, if you haven't watched the presentation on the inverted pyramid, please watch that first. Okay, so summary leads, basically what it sounds like. They summarize the story. Remember, the lead is something that is very important in this class. That's one of the key things you're going to learn. So you need to know what a lead is. A lead is the first paragraph of a story. And for a summary lead, it's one sentence. So that might seem weird because it's not what you're used to. It's a one-sentence paragraph. In this class, you're going to have very short paragraphs. 1, 2, 3 tops for your sentences, for paragraphs. So get used to that. So the summary lead is one sentence, and it summarizes the story. So, just a reminder, it's not the only way to write a lead. A summary lead is what you're going to learn here, but it's not the only way to write a lead. It is the only way we're going to write them for now. I want you to get this down, and then we'll learn how to write other leads. So, what is a summary lead? A summary lead tells the reader what happened, when, and where. That's it. What happened, when, and where. That's what I want you to do for now. What happened, when, and where. So, a couple things about summary leads that people may be surprised to hear. First of all, they're full sentences. You don't want to write a headline. It's not a headline. You have to include all the words. It has to be a full sentence. A and the sentence should make sense on its own. So, here's a bad summary lead. This is more like a headline. Boy dies in fall from mountain Tuesday outside Boulder. That is a headline. That's not a sentence. This is a sentence. A boy died when he fell from a mountain Tuesday outside Boulder. That's a full sentence. That's a lead. Okay? So that's what you want to do. Who? A boy. What? Died when he fell from a mountain. When? Tuesday. Where? Outside Boulder. So this one adds the how. How did he die? So it's who, what, when, where, and how. So it's kind of interesting. But just said a boy died Tuesday outside of Boulder. That'd be pretty boring. So another thing you want to remember is to use the correct tense. This is a common error with people who haven't written a lot of leads. If it already happened, use past tense. So, yes, this is good. Joe Smith died, past tense, when he fell asleep while driving Monday night in Greeley. Do not do this. Joe Smith dies when he fell asleep while driving Monday night in Greeley. Okay, don't do that. You want it to be the correct tense. If it hasn't happened yet, use the future tense. Okay? The Board of Trustees will meet at 7 p.m. Tuesday. Obviously, you can't do that in past tense. Okay. Now, you don't want to include everything in the lead. You want to focus on the key elements. Focus on the key elements. What happened? Who did it? Or whom did it happen to? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Sometimes you can leave out the why or how, but not always. Like, for instance, the one I just showed you, the how was in there. So, but definitely you want the who, what, when, and where. Okay, now this is one of my pet peeves. In the lead, you did not need the exact time if something already happened. If it already happened, in the lead, you do not need the exact time. Why not? Because it doesn't matter to the reader. If it already happened, it doesn't matter what time it started. For instance, you wouldn't say, the Broncos beat the Ravens Thursday night in a game that started at 7 p.m. Nobody cares what time it started. They just care who won. So you're going to say the day of week. You can use morning or night or afternoon, but not the time. And remember that the what is more important than the when. Remember, you're never going to start a lead with the when or where. You're always going to start with who or what. Now, if it hasn't happened yet, then you need the time. Because if you want people to attend, then you might put the lead, the time in the lead. For instance, like City Council will meet at 7 p.m. Tuesday in City Hall. Or the Rockies host the Brewers at 7:05 p.m. Tuesday at Coors Field. You might do that. That's a very simple lead. Probably have something else that's more exciting in the lead. But you could do that. Now that doesn't mean that you don't, just because you don't have the exact time in the lead, doesn't mean you might not have the exact time in the story somewhere. So just remember that. For instance, if a car crash happened, you wouldn't put the time of the crash in the lead, but you would put it in the story somewhere. But in the story about the football game, you wouldn't put what time the game started, unless it started late for some reason because it was delayed by rain or lightning. Okay, now, names. Very important. In a summary lead, don't use the name of an unknown person in a lead. So, for instance, you wouldn't use my name in a lead because I'm not famous. So you would say a Greeley resident or a UNC student or a UNC professor. You can use a well-known name. For instance, Kay Norton is the president of UNC, or John Elway, or John Hickenlooper. Okay, sometimes when is confusing. Usually the when comes at the end of the sentence, but sometimes it can be confusing. For instance, a University of Northern Colorado graduate spoke to the pre-law club about working hard in college Wednesday. So when did he speak? Wednesday. But the sentence makes it seem like he talked about working hard in college on Wednesday. And that's not what he talked about. He talked about working hard in college, but he talked on Wednesday. So because it's confusing to put when at the end, you, excuse me. Okay, so we want to change that. So we'll move when to the middle. Never put when at the beginning. A University of Northern Colorado graduate spoke to the pre-law club Wednesday about working hard in college. Okay? So it's not confusing. So use your common sense, but you never want to put when first. Now, don't forget the basics. Follow the rules of grammar and punctuation. Follow the AP style guidelines. Be concise. Be clear. Being concise means don't use 3 words when 1 will do. Being clear means sometimes using the extra word so that people understand what you mean. Remember, if you read it aloud, it's going to help. And don't forget to proofread. So there's something called an angle. This is how you attack the story. It's your focus. So you want to have a focus. What do you want readers to learn from the story? What you want to do is tell the story in 1 sentence. So how do you practice writing leads? One thing is read a newspaper every day. If you're not reading the newspaper every day, I'm not sure why you're a journalism major. First of all, you need to be aware of current events, and second of all, you need to know how to write this stuff. And that's how you're going to learn. If you write for the Mirror, that's really good practice. And then get an internship. After this class, get an internship. Okay, so to review, remember from last time, the inverted pyramid is a good way to tell a story. Why is that? It's easy to write, it's easy to edit, it's easy to read. The best way to write a summary lead? What happened? When and where? Okay, so here's, I'll show you how to go about writing a lead. What I want you to do is use the following information and write a one-sentence summary lead. One sentence. Write it down. Go ahead and read the stuff. Turn off the recording for a minute. Hit stop. And then write your lead and then read the rest. Focus on who and what, not when and where. Okay, so here's the information. So now stop the tape and go ahead and look at the information and use only the stuff you need for who, what, when, where, and then turn the tape back on. Okay, so start with what happened. What's the main point of the story? Somebody died in a car crash. That's the who and the what. Remember, you're not going to use his name because he's not famous. When? Monday evening. Where? Greeley. We don't need the exact intersection in the lead. We don't need the exact time in the lead. Okay, that stuff will come later in the story. So what makes this interesting for Greeley readers? Think of the news values. Proximity. The man who died was a UNC student and a Greeley Central graduate. Of course, I just told you that's the proximity news value. So what other news values does this story have? What news values does it have? Does it have conflict? Yes, somebody died. When somebody dies, there's conflict. It could be he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, he was going too fast, it was raining, you know, anything like that. But anytime somebody dies, that's conflict. It has timeliness. If it happened today, it has timeliness. It doesn't have prominence. He wasn't a prominent person. UNC is prominent. So, okay. It has novelty because somebody died in a car crash. It's pretty novel. It's not that novel, but it's pretty novel, especially for a UNC student. Okay, well, we're not going to share because we're online. So here's some leads that I wrote. Let's see if yours compares to this one. A University of Northern Colorado student died Monday in Greeley when he lost control of his car while driving home from class. Notice I said died and not dies. Here's another one. A Greeley Central graduate died in a car accident Monday in Greeley. So you've got the who, a Greeley Central graduate, what, died, how in a car accident, when, Monday, where, Greeley. Oh, one thing to remember, always put the when before the where. The when goes before the where. There's something called time, date, place. First the time, then the date, and then the place. We're not using the time now, so it's just date and then place. Time, date, place. Remember that. You're going to have to know that. Now, there's never just one lead for a story, so yours is a little different. That's okay. Remember to follow the conventions I talked about, though. Remember to follow the conventions I talked about. Okay, if you have questions, I want you to email me or stop by my office. This is very important. How to write a summary lead is very important. Now you can go ahead and do the summary lead, the practice summary leads, and send those in, and then I will let you know how you did next week. You want to definitely do those before you write what's to be written next week, and look at my comments. Now remember, and then what you can do is also you can take the information I gave you and write a simple story based on that information. Remember to make it several paragraphs. You never want a story that's one paragraph long. You want several paragraphs. And remember that the summary lead is one sentence, one paragraph. Get that into your head. Start reading the newspaper so that you know that. Okay, good. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again next week. Bye.